Now, the Davos attendees in that quaint little town in Switzerland, they have to be very reassured on the realization that nothing that they advocate or no panic that they induce will ever harm their bottom line.
So we need to act together to close the emissions gap. And that means to phase out progressively coal and supercharge the renewable revolution, to end the addiction to fossil fuels.
Emissions are still going up. All these promises of the last few years to cut emissions are still going up. When are we going to bring these emissions down? We cannot let the oil companies and gas companies and petrostates tell us what is permissible.
He's like a human version of the Hindenburg. He's going to explode at any moment. All right, these pronouncements from people like Gore and the rest of the big wigs at Davos, they oftentimes lead to real policy pronouncements. And we don't have to look any further than in California. That's the incubator for left-wing ideas. And it's been the leading state in the move to transition away from fossil fuels, the addiction, as he said, to fossil fuels. But what are the repercussions of this, the costs? According to a new report, 1/3 of oil and gas workers forced out of jobs due to the Greeniac policies will not be able to even find other jobs at all. And for those that do, nearly 30% will earn less. Joining me now is Mike Rowe, host of How America Works on Fox Business Prime and Dirty Jobs on the Discovery Channel. Mike, now, as the expert on jobs that make everybody's lives easier, your reaction to this callous and dismissive attitude of the elites at Davos of jobs that they don't approve of?
It's hard to maintain a consistent level of outrage. I've been at this for 15 years. The foundation I run is focused on real jobs that require an actual skill that truly exist. And honestly, Laura, when I look at some of the coverage of Davos, I guess I don't understand why anybody is taking any of it seriously. Honestly, I watch it year after year. These are billionaires and very, very, very wealthy people who fly privately to this resort to basically blame the everyday guy for all of the trouble in the world. So I think maybe my answer is I just don't know how a reasonable person can see through the hypocrisy to even for a moment seriously consider the validity of anything you just played.
Well, the fact of the matter is, Joe Biden and his environmental team are moving apace. Obviously, the Keystone Pipeline canceled. We see oil and gas permitting at record stall-outs now. People are refusing to invest in oil and gas because of this ESG and green movement, Mike. So while I agree with you, these guys are just total blowhards and many of them total frauds on this issue, the policies come out of the corporate push in many cases. And it's not the other way around. The corporations are pushing for this, quote, revolution, because I think they're going to make a lot of money either way. No matter what happens, they always come out on top.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of an unholy alliance, and most bad ideas take on a certain kind of inertia, right, that gets pushed and pulled from a lot of different places. And sometimes I'm afraid things just have to go splat before the regular majority will just stand up and go, whoa, look. It's fine to talk about renewables. It's well and good, and I think in our best interest to look at other ways to fuel the planet. But to affirmatively make fossil fuels the enemy right now, and to marginalize and to vilify the very thing that we are all so completely and totally reliant upon, that's a recipe for crazy making. And you're right, you can see it everywhere. Certainly our relationship with energy is profoundly disconnected. Our relationship with food also disconnected. We're at war with the very things that we need. And so, look, I work on the shows I work on because it gives me a chance to point to people who I believe are connected to the things that matter most, energy and food. What's going on in Switzerland right now, I don't get it.
Yeah, in California, by the way, where the state is destroying another critical industry, which is independent trucking, Mike. This recent piece in National Review explains that a law that Governor Newsom signed in 2019 forces independent drivers to surrender the companies that they've built and seek employment in large firms that can go on to hire them. What the heck kind of impact does this have on costs for all Americans?
And yeah, this is something that, in my view, is maybe the biggest unreported story in the country right now. AB 5 is the assembly bill you're referring to. It's become law. You're right. Newsom signed it. Will Swaim wrote the article in the National Review, and I had him on my podcast to talk about it because it's not just truckers, right? This started with ride sharing, Lyft, sort of Silicon Valley thing. It's moved into all aspects of freelance work and the gig economy, and it is completely under fire. There's a trucker named Tom Odom who you should talk to. You would really enjoy this guy. He came from nothing out of East LA. He built a business. He nets close to $200,000 a year driving his own truck. It's over for him. He's gone. He's moving to Texas, and 70,000 other independent truckers in this state are looking at the end of the way they want to work. And if you think that it's going to impact everything in the supply chain. Anybody with anything in their house that was ever on a truck is going to be impacted by this. And look, maybe it's too late for California, but there's an act in Congress right now to take this thing nationwide. And people need to pay attention to that for sure.
Yeah, they like big. They don't like small business, which is why so many entrepreneurs are becoming politically more conservative. It's obvious what's happened. They love the big conglomerates, and that means more power and more, you're right, connection with the government. Mike, thank you for what you do. You highlight the everyday heroes in our society, and we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.